Hello, my name is Michael Lutz, and today I will be giving a short presentation on contributing to the Drupal.org issue queue by submitting patches and providing reviews. This presentation is a adapted version of an internal company presentation that I recently gave to our developers. First thing that I want to talk about are contribution credits. Contribution credits are the currency used to track contributions to Drupal core and contributed modules. They come from providing code in the form of patches and from reviews of patches in the issue queue. The final decision on whether to award a contribution credit rests with the particular project maintainer. Generally, providing good faith patches that move the issue forward will grant a contribution credit regardless of whether the patch is the final one accepted or not. Substantial reviews that result in actionable improvement to a patch will also typically result in a contribution credit. There are two tools that I like to use to work in the issue queue. The first is a tool that really helps in creating patches called Dorgflow, and it's written and maintained by Joaquim Noriko. It's very helpful in maintaining branches for each issue and creating patches and interdiffs for easy review. It's also able to use the Drupal.org API to retrieve and apply other people's patches to an issue to allow for collaborative work. While you can do everything it does using pure Git commands, Dorgflow offers a number of shortcuts to make managing issue queues easier, particularly when you're jumping back and forth from issue to issue. Dredditor is a must-have Chrome extension for working with the Drupal.org issue queue, particularly when you're doing reviews. In addition to providing templates for issue summaries that follow the Drupal.org best practices, Dredditor provides formatted patch viewing and allows you to comment on individual lines of code in a patch and then compiles them into a formatted review that is easy for patch writers to address. This slide provides examples of using Dorgflow to begin work on a new issue. In the case of both Contrib and Core, the process is to clone the Git repository for the project, check out the current development branch. Running Dorgflow with an issue number as an argument will cause Dorgflow to access the Drupal.org API, create a branch named with the issue number and title, and then download and apply any existing patches in the issue as separate commits, allowing you to begin work wherever someone else may have left off. In the case of Contrib, while it is possible to start from a simple Git clone from the module repository, I recommend using Composer to download the module inside a Drupal installation to allow you to run the module's test suite during development. Once you have begun working on the issue, there are several Dorgflow commands that can be used to work with your branch, the most important of which is to simply call Dorgflow with no arguments. Assuming you have made a commit with your changes, this command will create one or two files. It will first create a patch file with a name that includes the issue number and expected comment number. If this is not the first patch in an issue, it will also create an interdiff file, showing the changes between your patch and the previous patch. This can help reviewers understand specifically what you changed without needing to review the entire new patch. This is essential in situations where you may have made a 1 or 2 line update to a medium to large size patch. If your patch significantly rewrites the previous patch or is a ground up new approach, this file may not be useful and can be ignored. If you are a project maintainer, you can also use Dorgflow apply to apply the latest patch onto the master branch, which you can then commit using the commit message provided by Drupal.org and push, provided you have the proper Git remote set up. Reviewing patches. Patch review is an important part of the contribution process and can be done without writing any code. When reviewing patches, it is important to be familiar with the Drupal coding standards, and in the case of Drupal core itself, being somewhat familiar with the core gate standards that maintainers and committers are going to apply to each patch. While different issues and patches may require different techniques to review, it all starts with understanding the issue. Hopefully, the issue summary details this information, but it is also important to read the comments in any given issue to understand context. Sometimes, after discussion, the issue being addressed might diverge from the original summary, in which case it is appropriate to update the summary or tag the issue with needs issue summary update to indicate that the issue summary is out of date. Small patches may be easily reviewable simply by reading the patch file itself. Larger patches may need to be applied and reviewed in more detail, along with relevant unit test files. Finally, sometimes the best way to review is to apply the patch in a working development environment and view the effect of the changes on the front end. Tools like the recently revamped simplytest.me can help with this. Using Dreditor can help in providing reviews. Here we see the standard issue queue page where we have a patch file uploaded. And if we click on the patch file, you can see that you can review it as a plain text file. This is just a raw git diff file. By enabling Dreditor, you have two new buttons. One to review the patch, and then another one that will spin up a simplytest.me instance with the patch applied. By clicking on the review button, you will see a much more readable view with additions and removals color-coded and changes to the individual files separated out on the left side there. If you highlight a few areas, you will get a text box where you can add and save comments regarding those specific lines. After you save, you can highlight additional lines and comment on those as well. After hiding the patch and focusing on the comment box, you have a paste button in the upper left-hand corner, which will format your comments into an HTML list and paste them into the comment box. Finally, when you save, this format will leave your review formatted in an easy-to-digest way, allowing other contributors to address your comments in order. Drupal contributions come in many forms, and they don't require you to be a rockstar coder familiar with every detail of the Drupal core codebase. In addition to what was presented here, contribution credits can be earned by participating in initiative meetings and even general discussions in Drupal Slack. Documentation edits are also very helpful, although they are tracked differently than contribution credits. I do hope this presentation has inspired you to contribute to the Drupal project in some way, and I thank you for your time.